Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a quick video going over what you can expect from Air Canada's classic pods, the long-haul lie-flat business class they don't brag about. I'll be taking it on a quick hop from Montreal to Toronto, a flight that takes about an hour to traverse a short 313-mile distance. The airport is quite straightforward since it only has one terminal. In the domestic section, Air Canada's check-in area is on the rightmost side of the building. If you walk past the general check-in area, you will find the priority section. There weren't that many check-in staff, although despite this being rush hour, there was not that much of a wait. After a quick jaunt through security, it was straight to the Maple Leaf Lounge. This one in particular has seen better days, yet somehow it always manages to be packed. It might have something to do with the copious amounts of free alcohol on offer here. Whatever the reason, I'm late for my flight, so let's quickly get out of here now. Oh look, magazine. I'm gonna take one of these. They were generous enough to give us 2 boarding bridges, and since I was sitting at the back of business class, let's go this way. Here's my seat for today, 9A, and as you can see, it's the last seat in its row. In my humble opinion, this is probably the best seat on this plane, as you get an extra dose of privacy with no one behind you and a more enclosed space. There is no window, although with these herringbone configurations, only an owl would be able to see out of them. Let's do a comprehensive seat tour. First off, there is ample legroom in which to stretch out. Another reason as to why the A row might be preferable to the other two is that there's a wall here, so you don't have to stare at other people's feet. On the subject of feet, this ottoman is very comfortable. Up here is a substantial coat hook. You can probably hang a baby human off of it. Here is the safety card, which is probably read less often than Facebook's terms of service. In here is the tray table, which is quite difficult to deploy, not because it was poorly designed, but because of how old it is. If you value your fingers, I would get them insured. The tray table is quite large and very sturdy, but good luck getting out of your seat when this thing is deployed. Alright, let's carefully put this thing away now. There we go. Over here is your anachronistic media controller with the buttons straight out of the 90s feeling really mushy. There's a gamepad on the back, but trust me, you won't be using it. Down here are the seat controls, which beyond anything work. And this button deploys the in-flight entertainment screen. The resolution's okay, but the screen size really isn't. Down here is a universal power outlet, Type A USB port, and your headphone jacks. There's a strange trapezoidal cutout here, and your life vest. And up here is a reading light that you can rotate like this. Okay, let's do the inboard side. The armrest here can be lifted to ease access to the magazine rack. And then it can be lowered again, obviously. Over here is a small tray. Down here is another weird cutout along with a water bottle holder. And back here is a triangular cutout which is only available on this seat. I'm guessing these Velcro anchors are to hold curtains when the seat is used for crew rest. And one last thing, there are no individual air nozzles. And that concludes the comprehensive seat tour. The cabin as a whole is laid out in 3 rows, each with 9 seats. Once again, you can appreciate how row A has a greater sense of privacy. Water bottles were distributed, but no pre-takeoff drinks. After a short taxi, we were airborne. Shortly after takeoff, the cabin crew came around and passed out a substantial hot towel. This was quickly followed up by a drink service. I opted for a very zesty Grenache accompanied by a pack of nuts. Air Canada serves these cold plates on continental flights shorter than 2 hours in lieu of a full meal, and they're usually pretty good, as was the case on this flight. This was a hummus dip with peppers and capers. The bread was soft, the dip tastes fresh, it was all pretty good. After the food, I thought I'd check out the IFE, but the screen was quite stubborn in refusing to hold its position. When it finally did agree to stay deployed, I was further disappointed when it became apparent that the system was as responsive as a comatose sloth. The in-flight magazine functioned better in terms of entertainment. I don't think many people will care about the IFE on a 1-hour flight, but knowing that this plane serviced the flight from Geneva to Montreal prior to this one, it's quite unforgivable for the system to be this terrible. Thankfully, there was Wi-Fi on this aircraft, with both the speeds and the price being quite reasonable, as they consistently are with Air Canada. With nothing left to do, I tried out the recline. There are a wide range of seating options allowing you to move the individual seat components separately. It's not difficult to get comfortable in these seats. I am quite glad Air Canada is replacing these seats and updating them on the few planes which still have them to the newer ones. Some of these seats have been in service for almost 2 decades now, and their age is definitely beginning to show. It's at a point where many frequent flyers, including myself, are actively avoiding long trips on A330s and 767s to avoid these classic suites. They are not priced differently than the newer signature suites, which is quite inexcusable given the disparity in comfort and experience. Hopefully I've covered it thoroughly enough for you to come to your own conclusions. If not, feel free to leave an angry comment. To the rest of you, thanks again for watching. Safe travels.